The U.S. Secretary of State called his Egyptian counterpart on Sunday to discuss the ongoing bloodshed in Gaza and Israel. NTD's Kevin Hogan spoke with an expert on how Egypt could help in the conflict.
The White House on Friday addressed the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine.
I think it's also important to remind people Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas does not represent the views, the families, the people who are suffering, all of the Palestinian people who are suffering as a result of this violence. But there's no justification for 1,500 rockets coming from Hamas into Israeli communities in Israel either.
The White House's objective is to work toward de-escalation. Psaki said from the presidential level on down, there are many conversations between leaders of states in the region. Those include Israel, Palestine, and Egypt and Tunisia that she says may be influential on Hamas. National security expert Professor Stouffer says Egypt has played a constructive role in mediating in the past. He says now Egypt has a better relationship with Israel, partly for economic reasons like Israel selling Egypt natural gas and more.
And they've been helping Egypt develop water resources through desalination and many other steps that are being taken to share intelligence about the Sinai. So the Egyptians try to pay back by helping, being the only interlocutors that can meet with the Gaza leadership and with the Israeli leadership and to try to work out ceasefire.
Press Secretary Jen Psaki says to achieve an effective outcome, sometimes conversations with leaders in the region need to be kept private. Biden's envoy to Israel and Palestine flew to the region on Friday to work towards lasting peace. Kevin Hogan, NTD News.
U.S. President Biden has revoked a series of executive orders from the Trump era. This includes a 2019 proclamation that prevented immigrants who couldn't prove they could afford health care from getting visas. Biden reversed this order, saying this does not advance the interests of the United States. He says his administration can expand access to quality, affordable health care without excluding immigrants with financial struggles. Biden also undid a series of executive orders that would build American monuments and protect them from being vandalized, as well as one that would build a national garden for American heroes. While many mothers around the world were celebrating Mother's Day, one mother in China had perhaps the worst Mother's Day she could ever think of. Her son died mysteriously at school that day.
Thousands of people in southwestern China's Chengdu city are calling for transparency after a local high school allegedly covered up the death of a student on campus. Large numbers of protesters gathered in front of the school on Tuesday. They demanded that authorities tell the truth about the incident. A lady shouted outrageous after police arrested some people at the scene. Chinese police posted online messages on Wednesday labeling the protesters hostile foreign forces. Authorities sent out large numbers of police officers to suppress the protests and to prevent what they call a color revolution. And what triggers such protests? It all began with a local high school junior around 16 or 17 years old called Lin Wei-chi. Lin's mother dropped him off at school on Mother's Day, not knowing it would be the last time she saw her only son. The school said that Lin jumped off a campus building later that day. About 2 hours later, an ambulance arrived at the scene and announced that he had died. That's slower than the standard response time. But Lin's mother said her son wished her happy Mother's Day before parting with her, showing no sign that he was planning to commit suicide. The paramedics sent Lin's body directly to a funeral home without first getting permission from the family. After Lin's death, his mother went to the school to find out what happened. But the school warned other students against discussing the incident with anyone, or else they will be kicked out and won't be able to graduate. But the school's threat didn't work on everyone. The father of one of Lin's schoolmates exposed what the school did after Lin had died. He wrote, "First, the school sealed off the doors and the windows on one side of all the classrooms under the pretense that they were spraying pesticides That's because people could see how he jumped from the building from that side, so that no one could see what they did to the corpse. Second, they cut the wrists of the corpse to conceal the truth from investigators. This might give people an impression that Lin cut his own wrist to end his life. The father struggled before revealing what was happening behind the scenes. That's because the school might penalize his child studying there. But the father decided to speak out against the school. Otherwise, he says his child might be the next victim. Lin's mother said the school allowed her to watch the surveillance footage later on, but clips of Lin's alleged jump were missing. Chinese Communist Party or CCP mouthpiece Xinhua News published incomplete surveillance footage online on Thursday. They were also missing the part about Lin's alleged jump. Xinhua also blurred out the footage in which Lin allegedly cut his own wrists before jumping off. The mother said the school barred her from going on campus and looking at Lin's body. She wrote, "The school says that they will start legal proceedings and will not further comment on it. As a mother, I'm filled with hatred and pain. We are devastated and have no other options." The case is going viral online and many people are trying to figure out who should be responsible for the tragedy. After conducting investigations, local authorities say that Lin took his own life due to personal problems. They ruled out foul play, saying there's no evidence suggesting that anyone insulted or bullied Lin on campus. But the father of Lin's schoolmate disagrees with the conclusion. He wrote, "My child told me that Lin's chemistry teacher Wang Li Sha, who is also the department head in charge of all the teachers at the school, was preparing for her child to study abroad. Only one student has the opportunity to go, and it went to Lin. The so-called mother pushed Lin off the building." Lin was a top student at the school and received multiple chemistry and physics awards. The incident is causing a public outcry. Even Chinese state-run media are blasting local authorities for jumping to the conclusion too soon, before police investigations even ended. Local police said a thorough investigation is underway.
On the southern Italian island of Capri, illegal fishing of shellfish is devastating the marine ecosystem. Local politicians are ramping up efforts to turn the surrounding area into a protected marine reserve.
Off the southern Italian coast, police divers find date mussels in nets. Shaped like their fruity namesake, the Arabian date, catching this valuable type of shellfish is illegal and has devastated the marine ecosystem. Divers harvest them by using hammers and chisels to extract them from rocks and coral reefs. Capri councillor Paolo Mazzina.
Why is date mussel fishing illegal? Because the way it is carried out severely damages the rocky part of the coast. I'm not an illegal fisherman, but from what I know, illegal fishermen work using a sort of drill.
Nel senso che io non sono un pescatore di datteri, ma da quello che mi è stato spiegato si lavora con una sorta di perforatrici.
The damage they cause is really severe because damaged rocks need a very long time, many years, to recover.
La parte lesionata, danneggiata richiede tempi lunghissimi, anni, molti anni.
The mussels are sold on the black market for between 40 and 200 euros, or $241 per kilo. Police say the shellfish is being snapped up by restaurants in and around Naples. A 3-year investigation by Naples Finance Police broke up 2 organisations using drills, hammers and even explosives to harvest the shellfish from rocks on the coast of Capri. 2 of the leaders of the Napolitan groups sold over £17,000 of the illegal product in just a few months. Police intercepted one of the suspect's phones and found he earned €20,000, about $24,000, in just a few months. Experts say 48% of the seabed of the famed Faraoni rocks has been severely damaged by the illegal harvesting of the date mussels. The type of shellfish is endangered and is protected in most of the Mediterranean. Mazzina is leading a project to turn the surrounding area of the island into a protected marine reserve, to stop illegal fishing and limit the number of boats driving into the bay, so future visitors to this stunning coastline can continue to enjoy its natural beauty.
That's the news for today, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Stuart Lees.